The Sacramento Kings offseason is continuing to trick along as we are in what many would say would be the dead period with the NBA draft now behind us, the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas come and gone, and we know how that ended up. The Kings finishing 5-1, losing to the Charlotte Hornets in the Summer League championship game. And then you traded JV to the Denver Nuggets for Dario Saric. Like, that was mostly a salary dump. I don't know how much playing time Saric is going to get here in Sacramento. If any, he can bring a mix of the front court versatility, can stretch the floor, can handle the ball better than JV. Why this matters is it's from the traditional back to the basket center to a smaller, skill-oriented forward/center. And the pace, Sarge has the better pace, more mobile and floor spacing style than JV in what Doug Christie and Scott Perry are looking to do. Nick Clifford, strong two-way wing, and we saw a lot of that in the Vegas Summer League, known for his defensive rebounding. We saw him sometimes handle the point guard position. Is he going to be like a backup point? I think he's more of a 2-3 player on this Sacramento Kings team this year, mostly off the bench, and he fills a glaring wing depth need that the Kings need, and they need more of for Sacramento. But the Kings likely they still need a high impact wing shooters and athletic defenders to elevate this team beyond where they have been these last couple of seasons in the mediocrity, stuck in the middle of NBA purgatory. And that's where you see like names like Jonathan Kuminga come up in possible signing trades, because I think you add a guy like Jonathan Kuminga to this Kings roster, then you would have Dennis Schroeder as your point guard, Zach LaVine at the 2 guard. You can move Keegan Murray to the 3, Kuminga at the 4, and then you have Sabonis at the 5 as your starting 5. I think that fit with Murray and Sabonis could actually be pretty good. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Kings-related podcast, wherever you may be. Before we get into today's episode, please, if you're watching this on our Kings-related YouTube channel, please give this video a like, a subscribe, and leave a comment down below. If you're listening on your preferred audio platform, whether it be Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcast, please drop a follow, rate 5 stars, and leave a nice little review. That will be much appreciated. The Sacramento Kings offseason is continuing to trick along as we are in what many would say would be the dead period with the NBA draft now behind us, the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas come and gone, and we know how that ended up. The Kings finishing 5-1, losing to the Charlotte Hornets in the Summer League championship game. Now this is what most call it as the dead period of the NBA offseason. There will still be moves being made, but mostly maybe small little moves. But let's bring you up to speed on the Kings offseason to this point. We all know the obvious need going into this offseason was the need for a point guard, and we've seen names out there. The Kings signed Dennis Schroeder. It was a 3-year, $45 million deal. He's the lead ball handler, primary floor general, brings that playoff experience, the scoring punch, assist creation, and he's He's a steady veteran, not long term, brings the leadership in that backcourt, but he does lack the elite quickness and the upside that we had with De'Aaron Fox. And then you traded JV to the Denver Nuggets for Dario Saric. Like, that was mostly a salary dump. I don't know how much playing time Saric is going to get here in Sacramento. If any, he can bring a mix of the front court versatility, can stretch the floor, can handle the ball better than JV. Why this matters is it's from the traditional back to the basket center to a smaller, skill oriented forward slash center. And the pace, Sarge has the better pace, more mobile and floor spacing style than JV in what Doug Christie and Scott Perry are looking to do. Nick Clifford, strong two-way wing, and we saw a lot of that in the Vegas Summer League, known for his defensive rebounding. We saw him sometimes handle the point guard position. Is he going to be like a backup point? I think he's more of a 2-3 player on this Sacramento Kings team this year, mostly off the bench, and he fills a glaring wing depth need that the Kings need, and they need more of. And he offers that future potential as a multi-category distributor, and we saw that in the Vegas Summer League where you saw the ball in Clifford's hand at times in Las Vegas. And you got Clifford with that pick via pick swap with Oklahoma City, where the Kings moved into the first round with that 20 overall pick, and you sent out that 2027 rounder, and that likely freed up $7 to $8 million in cap space to position Sacramento into maybe possibly more moves down the line. What the Kings still need to add, obviously, you need more wing scoring and 3-and-D pieces, more balanced shot creation with defense, because if you've been watching Scott Perry and Doug Christie, I believe this is going to be a defensive oriented first team. And you just look at the guys that they brought in. Nick Clifford, strong two-way guy. You got Maxime Renault, who can stretch the floor, not known for his defense yet, but I think once he grows into that body of his, I think defensively, I think he could be pretty good defensively. Schroeder, really good on-ball defender, not quite the shooter that you had with Fox. And then you got Keegan Murray. We know what he can bring on the defensive end of the floor, two-way guy. Keon Ellis, we know what Ellis Island is the nickname for a reason. We know what he can do. More defense, the better, because the Kings have been really bad defensively for the longest time, near the bottom of the NBA in defensive rating. And the Sacramento's transition from a quicker, more flexible floor spacing roster focused on the backcourt ball handling and wing versatility, because that's one thing that we've heard Scott Perry, Doug Christie talk about at the press conferences this offseason, is the versatility of players, the floor spacing. And when you add pieces like Schroeder, Saric, if he plays at all, if any minutes this upcoming season, you got Clifford, who could be a two-way guy for the Kings. It is a shift for Sacramento, but the Kings likely they still need a high impact wing shooters and athletic defenders to elevate this team beyond where they have been these last couple of seasons in the mediocrity, stuck in the middle of NBA purgatory. And that's where you see like names like Jonathan Kuminga come up in possible signing trades, because I think you add a guy like Jonathan Kuminga to this Kings roster, then you would have Dennis Schroeder as your point guard, Zach LaVine at the two guard. You can move Keegan Murray to the three, Kuminga at the 4, and then you have Sabonis at the 5 as your starting 5. I think that fit with Murray and Sabonis could actually be pretty good. And that would leave DeRozan. Do you move him to the bench as a veteran, or do you move him in a separate deal elsewhere? Because I don't see DeRozan where he is at right now in his career coming off the bench. And Kuminga is actually younger than Keegan Murray and your first round pick in your picks from this June in Clifford and Reynaud. And then you re-signed Doug McDermott to a 1-year deal. Why? I have no idea if he'll play it out. But he also brings that floor spacing, the shooting, but who knows how often he'll play. Drew Eubanks, who was waived by the Clippers, Kings picked him up. Who knows if he'll play? And then you still got Malik Monk, whose name's been out there and possibly moving this offseason. And you got guys like Isaac Jones, who really played well in the Las Vegas Summer League for Sacramento. And then you got your two-way guys, Dylan Cardwell, who played well, and then Isaiah Stevens, who played well for the Sacramento Kings in the Vegas Summer League. And then you got somebody like Devin Carter, your first-round pick just last June, who did not play at all last summer, missed the first half of the season because of the shoulder injury. He had that 30-piece in the second game in Las Vegas, and other than that, did not look great shooting the basketball. We know how good he is as a defender, but Devin Carter, you look at this team, he's not a point guard, he's a combo guard. And if you look at the logjam on this Kings team of guards, you got Schroeder, you got Zach LaVine. That's your starting backcourt this coming season. And if Malik Monk is on this team, you got Malik Monk. And then Devin Carter, he's the third man off the bench in that two-guard position? So you already got a logjam in the guard position. Plus, you want to get playing time for your young players like Maxey, like Clifford. And I would love to see Isaac Jones get time. I think Keon Ellis should be playing 20, 25 minutes a game for this Kings team because what he can do defensively. And we saw what he can do. But I believe he was the best three-point shooter last season for Sacramento on this team. And if you look at Devin, he was one of the most NBA-ready guards in his class when you picked him 13th overall. Elite defender. He's got the motor. He's got the toughness. Good rebounder for his size. He's immediate rotation upside potential to be a key two-way piece, but the shooting's not there yet for Devin. And then you got Maxime Reynaud, your second-round pick this past June, 42nd, high IQ, 7-footer, smart guy from Stanford, a mobile big, stretches the floor with a soft touch. Likely, once he grows into that body, gets stronger, I believe he could be a really good defender for the Kings once he gets stronger and grows in that body. But right now, he's behind Sabonis for sure. And then could he be behind Drew Eubanks? Because Drew Eubanks should not be playing more than 10 minutes a game if he plays. So that's Maxime Reynaud. And then you got Zach LaVine, a full season. And I know for sure that Scott Perry would never have made this deal of sending De'Aaron Fox out for Zach LaVine. So you got Zach LaVine, who brings the scoring, the shot creation, the spacing, doesn't play defense. DeMar DeRozan, if he's on the team, veteran, the scoring, clutch in the fourth quarter we saw last season. He's the president of that MIDI committee. He also brings the playoff maturity to this Sacramento team. Dennis Schroeder, and he's the insurance, not long-term, for the point guard position. He's a steady veteran, brings the defense. Saric, who knows how long, if any minutes he'll play. He's a floor spacing big who could fit well in a backup role. Again, he didn't play much for the Denver Nuggets this past season. He hasn't played a lot in the last couple of seasons while he's been in the league. So the moves that the Kings still need to come to, they need a backup big depth because you got Maxime Renault. He's raw right now. But the Kings, they need one more proven rim protector or a physical presence for those situational uses in the game. Two, they still need a wing defense, 3-and-D insurance because we know DeRozan and Zach are offense first. They're not known for defense. And the Kings still need to add a perimeter stopper. And that's where you heard those rumors about Ben Simmons, who's still out there for some reason. I know when you bring up the name Ben Simmons, I know that could rub people the wrong way because does Ben Simmons still want to play basketball? Could you get a perimeter stopper on the vet minimum or a two-way deal? And Ben Simmons is an elite defender. On this Kings team, Ben Simmons would operate as a combo power forward or a three and a secondary ball handler, likely taking minutes from Devin Carter. And that's where you got that logjam at the guard position, at the backup point in the bigger lineups that Doug Christie would want to go to. Or he could play the backup forward position in those mobile lineups, taking minutes from like Dario Saric, who I believe will not see many minutes with this Sacramento Kings team. And occasionally he could spell DeRozan or Keegan Murray when both those guys need the rest. And Ben Simmons, he offers three positions. A point guard who, when paired with Malik Monk or Zach LaVine, can space the floor at the four next to Sabonis or Drew Eubanks, or at the three in a more defensive-minded switching lineups. And you could get maybe Ben Simmons on maybe a 1 or a 2-year deal. And Simmons, he could be part of that defensive bench mob coming off the bench with guys like Keon Ellis, maybe Drew Eubanks if he plays. Could be part of the closing unit with DeRozan, LaVine, Keegan Murray, Sabonis, or a switch-all lineup with Keon Ellis, Clifford, Keegan Murray, all that. And Ben Simmons' ideal role, if he were to sign with Sacramento, he wouldn't play a lot, maybe 10 to 15 to 18 minutes a game. Again, backup point guard. He can play the three. He can play the four. He's a defensive anchor for the Kings' second unit because the Kings need more defense on this team. And it could be a secondary playmaker to Schroeder, to Malik Monk. And you don't really need Ben Simmons for his offense when you got guys like LaVine, Keegan, DeRozan, Sabonis, or even Clifford, and you can transition that into the DHO hub, high post passer, and an offensive role for Ben Simmons. And the fit priority, if the Kings were to sign Simmons, he must play with spacing. With Monk, Keegan Murray, Zach LaVine, Sabonis, Saric if he plays. So I kind of, if the Kings, Ben Simmons, I know a lot of heads at why are we talking about Ben Simmons? Does he still love the game? I know it did not end well in Philadelphia after that playoff series. The Brooklyn, I know he was injured most of the time in Brooklyn. And then he played last year with the Clippers. He played in 5 of those games in the playoffs for the Clippers against the Nuggets. Did not play in Game 6 or Game 7. So I kind of like the fit with Ben Simmons in Sacramento if he were to sign here with the Kings. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Kings off-season so far from Dennis Schroeder as your point guard for now, not long term, and potentially Jonathan Kuminga maybe in a sign and trade, or Ben Simmons. The rumors are out there. The Kings are one of the teams interested. Would you be interested in possibly signing Ben Simmons? And how do you like the fit on this Kings team for this coming season? Let me know in the comments down below. But that would do it for this episode of our Kings related podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, drop a follow, rate 5 stars, and leave a nice little review. That'd be much appreciated. And we'll catch you next time on another edition of our Kings related podcast. And as always, take care and go Kings.